3, 2, 1. Goddesses, assemble! Goddesses, I can't wait for us to unite. We will come together and create a world for all of us. A world of wonder and brightness where we will feel ecstasy, spiritual joy, and bliss most of the day. We will not be bored and we will not suffer. We will look back and remember a time of separation and scarcity and a lack of our meaning and purpose. The 3 wounds, I call them, and also the 3 components necessary for domination systems to control us. The first wound, scarcity, involves withholding perpetually our universal needs and creating resistance in 4 areas that I identified: giving, receiving, learning, and teaching. Domination systems create this resistance so that you must look outside of yourself instead of inside of yourself to the voice of God. You must look outside of yourself, not to the voice of God through nature, but to an authority. What's he saying?
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Were they talking to us?
I think I was talking to me, I guess. So to find time to do it.
Okay, so there's 4 areas of scarcity. Domination systems must have scarcity, which means the world emerges and none of our needs are met. So the second wound is separation. So the world operates in separation because it makes us very easy to control. When we are separate, we are stupid. So when we are separate, we are not. When we are separate, we are not. No one's listening. So if people come by,
Can I speak on it?
well, here's the audience in the camera. That's where everyone is. There's 63 people watching us.
Is this
All
one?
right, well, let me finish my point first. Okay. So the first wound is scarcity, and the second wound is separation. So scarcity makes us easy to control because if our needs are not met, we cannot think about anything except for meeting our needs.
Right.
Separation is important in order for domination systems to work because when we're separate, we are one mind. When we are together, we are a group consciousness. And when we are a group consciousness, that means we are a network of brains, not just one brain. So we are way smarter when we are making decisions this way. So domination systems must have separation. That's why there's no sharing of information, no sharing of technology, right? This is bad. We want truth, transparency, and trust. Those are the 3 components that the domination systems keeps away in order to keep the separation going. So there's scarcity, separation, then the third wound is our meaning and purpose. Domination systems use separation, scarcity, and the wound of our meaning and purpose, because if we have no meaning and purpose, then what are we? Who are we? And we're very easy to control because now we have to be a worker. Now we have to look for a grade. Now we have to look for approval because we are not getting that from our meaning and purpose. We are not getting our sense of self. We are not self-actualizing. We are not feeling a sense of belonging or mattering or being a part of because we are not creating, because we are not doing our meaning and purpose. And in no way can you ever join a market economy and think that you are going to meet those needs for meaning and purpose, even if you are doing the job that you love. And when we make decisions like sleeping and eating or traveling, or when these are our basic universal needs, like traveling, or what about learning and teaching? Like this, we have a need to teach, we have a need to learn, we have a need to give and receive. When there's scarcity everywhere, we feel hopeless. And on top of it, you put separation on that, we feel like we're losers. We are not losers. We're having a really healthy reaction to really, really messed up stimulus in a world that does not work, and then we are gaslit and told it works. And to not have our meaning and purpose is a deep, deep wound, and we do not even know that we have it. Many of us do not even know what our meaning and purpose is. If I ask you, you will tell me one or two things, and it will be concrete. You will say, I am here to awaken and unite, or I am here to cook the Italian food, or I am here to shred the concrete on a skateboard. You will know your meaning and purpose because it will be undeniable. It will be a part of you. And you are not a worker. You are here for greatness. You are here as a self-actualizing God, and you need your tribe for this. It is the gathering of the tribes as we dissolve domination systems, which is market economy, married to government. And we put all of our energy and attention into protecting rich people's stuff, throwing away and controlling poor people's stuff. Just control, 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 control. We don't want this. Domination systems are a reflection of our trauma, because kings and queens before, instead of being a part of a tribe, they were the outcasts. When the tribes outcasted, those outcasted became the conquerors and the kings. And they were outcasted, so they felt like they didn't belong. So then they felt like, I need to own everyone, control everyone. You outcasted me, I'll show you who's boss. And they came and literally convinced us, or under the duress of death, told us, you at least better pretend that you believe that I am ordained by God. And this is a great wound that has followed us, and it has never been healed. It has never been acknowledged. And in California, we look at the indigenous people with great beauty and love on the walls of City Hall. We depict us greeting the indigenous and shaking hands and being one with nature and them. But that is not the truth. We killed 98%, more than 98% of the indigenous population in less than 20 years during the gold rush. We massacred the planet and did the same things to the animals and the plants, and then we enslaved and created prisons that hurt the world, and the earth needs our help. It is a huge cry for help, and it is responding to the call of our times, responding to the call for help, that we will rise. We will rise. It will be like Avengers assembling. We will rise. It will be like Avengers assembling. It will be Captain Planet coming out of the shadows, and the turtles, the Ninja Turtles, forming their crew, and the My Little Pony, and I don't know what super squad you're in, but it's going to be a lot like that. And pick whatever story you want, but in all of the stories you will see they're pretty similar. Like, take the Care Bears. In the end of the Care Bear movie, mysteriously, all of the humans are feeling separate, and they're attacking each other, and they're using sarcasm and put downs in order to get people to give coercively because of shame or fear of punishment. And in the end of the movie, when it seems all is lost, the Care Bears, who care a lot, do what they do. They care that where entities, energies that are fear and shame-based either dissolve from the beautiful Care Bear, or they are engulfed and become love themselves. And this is the time. It is not going to be like, I guess it's going to be more like Captain Planet and Care Bears. It's not going to be like the Avengers, where there's a bad guy. Because in this news story, as you could tell from the Care Bears, there is no bad guy. It is simply loving up and reintegrating the shadow parts of ourselves to see which is enhancing and which do we want to move forward and take with us, and which pieces are more toxic. And those layers, we do want to dissolve them after harvesting the wisdoms from underneath the toxic top layers. And this is the new world that we create with the Care Bear stare. So just to help us do this, modeled after the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I created the 5 steps of global liberation in order to give us the lustrous lavishness of our universal needs leading the way, instead of these preposterous, ridiculous, obviously traumatizing and trauma-based, and coming from the traumatized who are now dead, and we don't agree with them because we love nature. And we don't want to control everyone and everything to death. So, step 1, the jig is up. Domination systems hurt us. Step 2, what do? We turn it over, which means we listen to the voice of God, the voice inside, nature. We are not unresourced and angry and hurt and filled with indignation when we are making decisions. And we are now responding instead of reacting. That is what we want, to be in our parasympathetic nervous system, because the whole world of domination is based off fear, separation, scarcity, and a lack of meaning and purpose. So we want to do the opposite. We want to bring love. We don't want to tell the domination systems like you're bad and kill them. Like, no, it's going to be more of a tickle torture and a Care Bear stare and a boop on the nose, boop, and give them weed and food and stuff that they like, and do not hurt them. Give them love. So that is the new way. Love God, nature. And then step 3 is you find your meaning and purpose. We never gave our consent, and therefore we are not available. Never again will we be available, because we are not sellouts and we are not for sale. So we are gathering to form needs-based fellowships in a world where there is no longer resistance to giving, receiving, teaching, and learning anymore. And this is because we are way too lovable, and our universal needs are undeniable, unlike merit-based systems. Universal needs-based systems will include the needs of all of life. Our entire planet will benefit. We will not have domination systems and government and market economy hiding and preventing us from having information and technology. There will be truth, transparency, and trust. We will no longer create weapons of mass destruction. There will be no weapons of mass destruction, because we will be healing and integrating these old traumatized parts of ourselves. And in order to be higher beings and higher consciousness, we must adhere to the laws of the universe as a higher species. Otherwise, we will remain on a earth timeout. I call it earth timeout. That's when you are not allowed to be a cosmic being. You're not allowed to be intergalactic, and none of the other aliens will talk to us because we are too dangerous. Okay? So we need to wake up, and all of us is awakening to Christ consciousness. I call this our light being self. Like, we have a light being. That is where we are going. And in order to be a light being, you cannot be a singular consciousness. You cannot be one nervous system or one brain. You must be a group consciousness and a group network of co-regulating nervous systems. And that is why, after finding your meaning and purpose, step 3, you are finally able to not experience the separation and scarcity anymore. Step 4 is you go and you find your soul tribe. It is the gathering of the tribes. And through our meaning and purpose, our gifts and our talents, through a flow of giving and receiving, learning and teaching, we will be able to create a new world based off flow and raising willingness and capacity instead of constant resistance, and raising votes and money. Raising votes and money is a coercive world where children become for sale. Human children. Everything becomes for sale. We don't want to live in that world anymore. So we say, the jig is up. I am not available. I never gave my consent, and I am no longer available. I'm turning my life over instead to love God and nature. And I am not a worker. Instead, I will find my meaning and purpose. And I am gathering with my soul tribe to do this. And then step 5 is we carry the message to create a global liberation, because we cannot have just a partially freed earth. We must free all of Big Big Mama. That is what I call her. And I get very emotional when I talk about Big Big Mama. I love her so much. And I know that you love her too. And that is the new world we want to live in. We want to speak radical truth. And we want to create new, fresh ways that are life-affirming in order to co-relate in a symbiotic way with all of life. We want to biodiversify. We want a flow of energies and attentions moving to meet needs instead of there being constant resistance to meeting needs. And in this new world, we will not have a housing crisis. We will not have a food shortage. We will not have water being dirty or oxygen. We will not have any scarcity. I promise you. And we do not have to be enslaved anymore, wondering why the world doesn't work. We do not have to be there anymore. We get to be in a world where we feel great all the time, where we know that our food is free, and that our food also has love, and also has not just the love and nurturing care of a mother, because we must acknowledge that our farmed food does not have the love and nurturing care of a mother. And we will be happy when we know that our food has the love of a whole tribe, because we are there not only for the death of our food, but we will also be there for the birth of our food. And we will be deeply connected to each other, to the earth, and to our food, and we will not go back. No, we will not go back in time. We will only ascend and transcend and evolve to higher ways, living in a high-tech heaven on earth that we will create, because we will bulldoze everything. We will start new. We will say thank you, Los Angeles fires. It is a triumph that everything has been burned down. And now we must create something new that is not a human land. We must free the animals from the LA Zoo, biodiversify, creating food forests for me and you, and make sure that it is fully stocked with all plant medicines, and make sure that all of the trauma healing essences of the THCs and the psilocybins and all of the nutrients from the avocados and the mangoes and the pomegranates. Hey, superhero, say hi to my live stream, you guys. Superheroes, when I say super, you say squad. Super squad, super squad, yeah. It's gonna be a global liberation. Right, you guys? All 49. I have a question. So, the fire that destroyed LA is a tragedy if we build it back the same way. That is a tragedy. People died, and they died for nothing. All of those animals, all of those plants, all of the beauty there that is created, gone. And that is a tragedy if we build it back the same. That is a tragedy because we're just building it back the same. Hey,
I'm a king. This is what a king
if you're a king, tell that creepy weirdo who's been harassing me for 4 years. Second time he's come up to me today to harass me. Second time he's come over today. Yeah, get him out of here. He needs a little rough affection. Like, literally 2-3 times a day, this guy's walking up to me. And it's because he doesn't have game. And he is striking out. He is trying to make friends, and it is not working. And that is why he's always alone. So to an older guy who's coming over and harassing the females, the other males need to go and tell him, hey, I care about you. What you're doing isn't working. Here, let me help you. You see how the females give me attention and affection? I will show you. Learn to bow your head. Learn to make them feel at ease. Ask them how they are doing instead of saying vulgar comments or whatever, just help them. And rough affection comes when it's like you cannot honor others and you are not giving space when asked, and you are now a liability because you are causing harm. Then we use rough affection. We do not use punishment. We do not beat people up anymore. It's not like the bad guy getting humiliated or the bad guy going to jail. Like, we don't want that. In this new world, we understand that hurts everyone. It hurts all of us. And if all of our attention and energies is going to caring for life, and instead of focusing on each other, right now all of our energy's on each other. Like, you put all of the kids together in school all day, that's really bad for kids. It is very stressful to take an organism and put all of the same together. They will fight. You need to have a diversity of age. You need to have a diversity of species. You need to have a diversity of different types of life. You gotta have plants and animals and microorganisms. And we cannot create a sterile environment and kill every single organism. And if it's tiny, we spray it and kill it. And if it's big, we trap it and kill it. Or if we're not killing it, we're controlling it and shooting it so it goes to sleep and putting it somewhere else. Like, the killing and controlling is an aspect of domination systems that comes from trauma, because when we are traumatized, we feel separated. So now we have to attack, we have to try to control, we have to try to get it to, because there is not trust and collaboration. There is not attuning to each other's bodies and co-regulating each other's nervous systems and collaborating and making decisions together based off of what will help to meet both of our needs, because I have a care for me and a care for you and a care for all of life and how I impact all of life and not just the tribe and the other humans, but how I impact or other superheroes, because we can't be humans anymore, but how do I impact my ecosystem? How do I impact microorganisms? And how do I impact generations from now? Like, I want us to be making decisions based off of generations from now, like planting things that are going to take 1,000 years to be able to see results. That is what I want, for us to be thinking ahead of creating growth and beauty and more autonomy and lavish abundance and freedom instead of more control. That is what we all want. Isn't this true? I'm going to start looking at the chat. So here is the part where you put in the chat, what are your struggles? What are your celebrations? Like, what do you want to be acknowledged for? And if you have a struggle, if you could put it in the form of a question, that would help me. And I could do some work with you. And the work that I do is basically, I am an empathy angel. And I will join you. I will try to feel what you might be feeling, because I will be able to feel it in my body. And I will tell you what's happening in my body. And you could tell me if that is how you feel. Or if that is how, that is what longing you have. That is your need. I will ask you what you're feeling and needing. And I will also translate to you what I hear you say. So you could tell me what is wrong. You could tell me what happened. And then I will reframe what you said into a language of the heart. So feel free. You could be as messy as you want. You could put it in the chat. You could discharge. You could vent. Tell me what is wrong and give me a question. And I will work with you. I will show you that you are a light being. I will give you some other choices that you could use, that I would use. And I will simply display it for you, because you are the wise master. You are the creator, and you have the wisdom and the knowledge. All of us are subjectivities to be related to, which means no one else can speak for us. No one else can tell us, and no one else knows. We all have an inner knowing. So we see, how do you get grief not to affect your everyday life? And a goddess here says, I'm scared that I'm going to be deported, even though I'm Native American. How can I not be scared? Of course you're scared. Can you let go of grief by recognizing everything happens for a reason? Hey, Jennifer Nana, yay! Okay, so I would say, if you say everything happens for a reason, that will not let go of grief. If that is all that you do, if you just say like everything happens for a reason, then that will be a form of spiritual bypassing. Do you guys hear the jackhammer? Like, everyone's leaving because of the jackhammer. But I'm gonna stay. So if you do that and you're like, oh, everything happens for a reason, then it's kind of like spiritual bypassing. What I would also do is I would go deeper into everything happens for a reason. And I would look underneath that statement, and I would say, yes, it is true. Not only does everything happen for a reason, but now that this has happened, what am I feeling? What needs of mine are not being met? What needs of mine are being met? So in that statement right there, I can already identify a couple needs, like needs for learning, needs for growth, needs for acceptance. Like, everything happens for a reason. Sounds like you're meeting, like, a lot of your needs are being met by having that mindset. I would also try to identify the needs that are not being met, and I would want to mourn those, because in finding, like, whatever you're grieving and identifying the universal need that was not met, you will be able to attract that, and you will be putting your attention and your focus on to that which will make life more wonderful. Our needs are the components of life-sustaining energies. They are the resources that we need in order to thrive. And even if it's something like invisible, like a need to be acknowledged, a need to be fully understood and seen for our good intentions. Like, these are our needs, and we, in mourning them, are calling them in. So I would not just say everything happens for a reason, because that's spiritual bypassing. If we are attracting something, it means that it is a part of us. So I would identify the unconscious contract. I would identify the universal needs that are being met, not being met. I would identify the emotions and feelings and the body sensations. And I would want to go through all of it so that I could recalibrate, so that then I could attract exactly what I want in the future. So everything happens for a reason is great. And then I would add to it, and from this day forth, I am now only available for healthy, life-affirming experiences. Or something like, everything happens for a reason. And from now on, I am going to only have relationships. So Dream with Melody is inviting me to co-host. So Jennifer Nana, can you invite me to co-host? Because she just invited me to co-host. Can you do that? Let me see. Jennifer Nana, put something in the chat so I can try to invite you, okay? So someone asked when I saw my kids last. I miss my kids so much. I have their name in the chat, Dylan, Rose, and Chris. That is my affirmation. I want to see them so bad. So I'm going to keep going. So I can't be talking all esoteric to basic people struggling. I know, I feel you. You make sense. And Cold Cash says that's not spiritual bypassing. People need to allow their emotions to be prepared instinctually to feel good and look forward. I agree with that. I mean, I do like that. So that's why I said it could be. Like, it depends. It depends how you're using it. So if you're like, everything happens for a reason, and there's no inner work to be done right there in that moment, because we're always doing inner work, then like, you're the judge, and you are also the chooser of when you do your work. So if you want to say everything happens for a reason and not do any other processing or mourning because you're like, oh, no. Like, this person does not get any more of my attention. I am pulling my energy, and they do not get to have any of my time again. Everything happens for a reason. Like, that's fine. I don't claim to know the way, and there is no way to do anything. We are always just trying different responses, and we're always just trying like different moves to see what will work. And then if this move works, great. But if we don't feel as good as when we do this, then okay, well, maybe we want to do that more. For myself, I try to remain flexible, and I try to remain flexible in the way that I could change my mind at any time. I am always teachable. Like, you don't have to try to convince me even. I will listen to you, and I want to understand you. And this is what I call a learning and growth mindset. I have no rigidity. I'm very ready to let new ideas enter, and I want to always reprogram myself. I do not want to have the same program. So, yes to that's not spiritual bypassing, and also it is case by case. And Cold Cash says, we have memories and instincts from all our ancestral bloodlines. I know, isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy how something that gets done to us will keep on recreating that trauma till we heal it too? Some of it got done to us when we were a baby maybe, and we don't even remember what happened, but we're still doing the same thing. So I agree with all of that. And hey, we're raised strong to overcome instead of embrace trauma. Became the new, people need to allow their emotions to be prepared instinctually to feel good and look forward. That's not spiritual bypassing. Okay, I already read that. I'm looking in the comments still. Let's see. Hello, you guys. No one putting a question in the chat, you guys. So how am I supposed to answer? No one has a question? No one has a struggle? No? You guys are so cute. I love you so much. So I want you to know you're not alone. I want you to know that you make sense. I want you to know that you are meant to have a meaning and purpose. Take that in for a second. You're meant to have lavish abundance, not scarcity. That's the first wound, scarcity. You are meant to be together, not separated. The second wound is separation. And you are meant to have a meaning and purpose. That is the third wound. And having a meaning and purpose means that we are able to go to all of our teachers. We could go learn whenever we want. We could go practice. We could go to fellowships where like-minded people are doing what we like. We could share our gifts and talents. We could teach others. We could give or we could receive. This is a world that is possible. We do not only have to operate through domination systems. It really sucks because it stresses us out. Our bodies are not made for that. Our biology is to be loving and caring. And because love is soft, domination systems were able to take over. Okay? And now they have a stronghold, but we're not able to hold on to the cultural narrative because that story is now coming apart. The cultural narrative can no longer be supported and the jig is up. And now our lifespans are getting shorter. We are getting sicker. Our lifestyle is getting worse. So we know the jig is up. So we want to ask and attract and manifest our universal needs, replacing scarcity with abundance, togetherness, because it is the gathering of the tribes, and we will dissolve the separation, and we will find our meaning and purpose because we are gods, kings and queens, here to create together in a co-worshiping flow, emerging through increasing willingness and capacity, not increasing votes and funds. Hey, superhero, I'm okay, thank you though. I'm still fasting. What do you guys think about that? Alright, you guys, that's enough live streaming. I love you so much. You are so lovable. Give yourself on the nose. You've always known it. You've always known that you are super duper lovable no matter what. You could be feeling and needing anything. And I want you to hear my voice telling you, you are lovable. When you ask any question, well, what does it mean if this? Well, that means you're lovable. Well, what does it mean if they did that? Well, that means that they're lovable and you are lovable. And it means you're too lovable for this. Well, what about this? This hurt. Well, that means you're lovable. It means you need love. Well, what about that person? It means they did. It doesn't mean you're a loser. It means you're lovable. Okay? You got that? Okay, good. I love you.